Hey, welcome back to the Dunamis concept. Pastor Dwayne Shaw, filming as always, my dear friend Cody Simpson. And I just want to talk to you guys today. We're keeping on that theme. We were talking about holiness and standards and promises. And today I want to talk to you about the presence of God. Because really the presence of God is where everything happens. The presence of God is where holiness happens. The presence of God is where the standards happen. The presence of God is where the promise happens. If you're not in the presence of God, or you can't find a way into the presence of God, then your life, you'll find yourself spinning your tires over and over and over. The presence, time in the presence is so important. And I hear people all the time say, oh, Dwayne, I'm always in the presence of God. He said, I'll never leave you or forsake you. Jesus lives in me. I'm always in the presence. There's two totally different understandings of the presence. All right? The first one is true, right? Jesus will never leave you or forsake you. Lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. But it's not to say we don't do things to try to leave him. It's not to say that we don't do things to try to separate ourselves from him. What we're talking about in the presence is the actual tangible presence of God in which we can say, I need help. Moses in Exodus 33, verses 24 to 28. Whoop, sorry, no. That's verses 12 to 18, sorry. Then Moses said to the Lord, see, you say to me, bring up this people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have found grace in my sight. Now therefore I pray, if I have found grace in your sight, show me now your way, that I may know you, and that I may find grace in your sight. And consider that this nation is your people. And he said, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Then he said to him, if your presence does not go with us, do not bring us up from here. For how then will it be known that your people and I have found grace in your sight, except you go with us? So we shall be separate, your people and I, from the people who are upon the face of the earth. So the Lord said to Moses, I will also do this thing that you have spoken, for you have found grace in my sight, and I know you by name. And Moses said, please show me your glory. See, Moses had an understanding. If the presence of God isn't there, we're not different. But the presence of God is what makes us different. The presence of God is what separates us from who we were. Right? Now, the hard reality is that presence of God and spending time in that presence of God, that's going to separate you from people who you thought were friends. You'll notice that all the people you used to drink with, all the people you used to get high with, all the people you used to do those things with, won't want to spend time with you because the presence of God makes you different. But it also gives you the ability to help make a difference. Turn over to Genesis 32, 24 to 28, and you'll see Jacob. Now Jacob, his name means deceiver, liar, cheater. Right? And that's who he was. That's what he did. He lied, he cheated, and he stole to get what it was he wanted. But it says this, starting in verse 24, then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. Now when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip went out of joint, and he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaks. But he said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. So he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed. See, it's one thing to say, God, I want to be in your presence. It's another thing to do everything within your power to stay in the presence of God, to not let the presence leave, to not give him an opportunity to go. Take a word from Jacob. You'll notice, while they were wrestling, that man touched his hip and it came out of joint, and he still wrestled. He refused to say, I quit. What he was saying was, I'm tired of being who I am. Make me who I'm supposed to be. I'm tired of being a liar and a thief. Make me who I'm supposed to be. And God says, from now on, you won't be that. You will be what you were called to be because you wrestled with me. You didn't give up. And I'm going to honor your passion for my presence. Amen?